Hey guys, it's Heather. Welcome back. It has been a long time since I've done an updated tanning routine. I am so sorry. I know I've been promising this. Last summer I was pregnant, so it wasn't gonna work then. And I've just been putting it off. There's really no excuse but that. But I am planning on doing a self-tan today. Not a lot's changed. I'm still priming my skin and using the Tree Hut as my exfoliant in the shower. And I'm still loving the St Tropez tanning products. I haven't tried many new tanners, and I like to stick with what I know works and what I know doesn't give me trouble as far as streaking. So I've showered, I've shaved, I've exfoliated using my Tree Hut Shea sugar scrub. So when I'm in the shower, I pay special attention to like elbows, collarbones, ankles, feet. I really get in there with a washcloth and really give my ankles and my feet a really good scrub. I want to remove any dead skin cells, and also you want to do this in between reapplying. So if I'm gonna tan every week, at the end of the week, I'll go ahead and exfoliate before I go and reapply the self tanner. But with the St Tropez, I do find that it fades pretty evenly, so I don't really have a lot of trouble where I'm like trying to like scrub off dirty patches, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna get started. I think you guys know the deal with how I like to tan. I will put both of my tanning videos down below. If you wanted to check it out, I've done one comparing St Tropez versus Loving Tan, the pros and the cons of each, and then my tanning routine that I did like a year or two ago now. So I will put that down below if you wanted to check it out. So I'm not picky about what lotion I use. I've been really liking the Sol de Janeiro. This is the Brazilian Bum Bum Cream. This is a body butter. It smells ridiculous. So my skin isn't too dry right now. So I'm just gonna take a little bit and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna apply it to any trouble areas. So that would be your wrists, your elbows, maybe your collarbones, maybe not. For you, you might not get dry there. Basically, any part of your body where the tanner might cling to that area where it would come out super dark. So like think of your elbow. The tan might go on really nice here, and then you might have like a dark ring right there. So that's why you want to put on a little lotion. So I'm just going to kind of tap a little bit on my hands and my wrists. Go on the other side, tap a little bit on. You don't want to do like an overkill. A lot of this is trial and error, so the more you do it, you're going to know the way your body really absorbs the product, and you'll be better equipped next time to do a better job. So I'm just gonna put a tiny bit on my collarbones. I'm not too dry, and I'm gonna put the rest onto my hands. So I'm actually gonna be doing my hands last. So I like to do my hands and my feet last. So the next important place is your kneecaps and your ankles and your feet. So I'm just gonna start at my kneecaps and then bring up my ankles and my feet, especially like back here on your ankle. It is not a good look if you get a ton of orange. So what I like to do is I put most of it on here and then I kind of just push it forward and then rub it on. You just want to make sure that it's nice and moisturized. And you want to get like your toes and in between your toes, because if you get products that builds up in there, it just does not look right. It's super dirty. Get a little bit on the knees. As you can see, my legs are super white. I have not tanned them. And I actually went to the beach the other day, and I was in the water the whole day because my daughter loves being in the water. I put my normal sunscreen on. It was like 70 SPF, and it was the spray kind. And I guess from being in the water all day, like literally all day, it must have washed off. And I had a bathing suit that like kind of crisscrossed here. So when I was in the water, it was getting pulled down, and I didn't put any lotion on like completely naked. I just kind of sprayed it on over. So as the string moved, holy cow, I will insert a picture. I got fried like bacon. My back is like a bacon strip. It's not funny at all. I preach SPF and skincare, but this was bad. Now next time I will never just spray over. I will put on, when I'm completely naked, put the lotion on first and not wear a bathing suit that moves around. So, and I also do my face completely last. So if you have really dry skin, I would definitely recommend, if you're gonna self-tan your face with the St Tropez, which I always do, I never have a problem, use a little bit of a moisturizer on your face so that it does not get stuck in any tough areas. And we'll go through that whole process later on in the video. I do my face last, so we'll do it at the end. Here we go. I picked up a fresh Mitt It is the velour on both sides. It is so nice. I'm excited for this. I feel like I haven't done this in forever. So I figured I would try something new today. I am trying the St Tropez. This is the Self Tan Whipped Marshmallow Bronzing Mousse. This is a limited edition scent. You get the same amount. So it's infused with vitamin E and moisturizing marshmallow extract. Wow, it smells ridiculously good. I'm excited about this. But my go-to is the St Tropez, the 1 to 3 hours. This has been my go-to for years. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I will put that video down below if you want to see me do my tanning routine with this one. So it's the same application process. I'm going to give it a good shake. And I always wear gloves on even underneath the mitt, just because sometimes it leaks through and I do not want to be dealing with that. Maybe they've improved their mitt. The other one that I have is not double-sided, but either way, it's fine. So what I do is I put the gloves on and I kind of pull them down. Obviously, I am tanning on camera with like a tank on, and then I have shorts on when I show you how I do my legs. So I'm gonna show you the best I can with the clothes on. What is that about? It's like one of those like whoopee cushions. That's out of control. Okay. So I'm gonna put 2 pumps on to get my arms started. Actually 3. Okay, so I put 3 pumps in, and it has less of a greenish tinge in comparison to this formula. I can see that right off the bat. So I'm just gonna kind of mush it like I do normally with the other one. And this is how we're gonna start. We're gonna start with the forearm and my upper arm, and we're gonna come to the elbows last. So the key here is to move quickly and vigorously. Okay, and you wanna go in your inner arms last. So we're gonna start the forearms, skip over the elbow, and we're gonna go right up to the upper arm, okay? And as that gets really worked in and it's less, I don't want to use the term wet, but damp with product, then you're gonna go back and you're gonna grace over those elbows, and you're gonna go into the inner arm and under your bicep and kind of like pat it under your armpit, kind of weird. Go back around like this. So I'm just pushing up to my wrist. Once we get it all nice and blended, what I like to do is I peel my glove back a little bit. And I'm gonna take no extra product. I'm gonna use what's on this glove, and I am going to vigorously rub the tanner onto my elbows like this. This mitt is really nice. Let's hope it applies as well as the other one did. And the way I look at this is, if you wanna get a really nice even tan, just keep blending. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next arm. 1, 2, 3. Squish it, just kind of pat it on there. I say really focus on the areas like your upper arm, your shoulder, like that get more sun and that are naturally darker. And then we go back in over the elbow and the inner arm, kind of press into your armpit area, because if you put too much in there, that's another spot where the product is really gonna cling. So I'm gonna speed this part up. Okay, pull down my glove a little bit. Make sure those wrists are nice and blended on both sides. Now you don't really want to go onto your hand, you just kind of want to finesse it over. Just kind of like that. And remember, we're going to do the hands last. We're going to move on to the chest area. I'm going to start small with 2 pumps. You can always add more. It's better to be safe than sorry. So I'm just going to kind of slap it on. Get it really blended. So I like to go up and down, I like to go horizontally, I like to go all around in a circle. Take it up onto my neck. Why am I singing? Go behind the neck. Kind of massage the ears. You don't want your ears to look too dark and dirty, so I apply very sparsely. And I never have any issues using this on my face. I know I get a lot of questions on that. Okay, so really rub it into the shoulders. This is why I like to wear the gloves, because it definitely seeps, and then I can easily change in between hands and I don't have to worry. Just kind of go around. Now that we have the chest area nice and blended, I'm gonna go in with 2 more pumps and I'm gonna work on my back. So if you are not flexible, ask someone that you live with, parent, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, that can help you get the middle of your back. So what I like to do is round out my shoulder blades to make it nice and easy. And I just start on one side, just like that. Then go on the other side. Try to get it as blended as I can. So you can see that line right there. We're gonna get to that. So just start at the top and try to get the top half done. And then you're gonna come around under your armpit, if you can, if you're flexible enough. If not, see if somebody can help you out. Start working that in. Then switch mitts and do the same thing on the other side. Sorry, I'm having to look in the camera so I can see what I'm doing because there's no mirror in front of me. And then I kind of go like this, which definitely hurts my shoulder. I'm not as flexible as I used to be. That's pretty good and blended. And guys, regarding staining, this will stain if it is still wet. I find that yes, it will stain. So you want to be careful when putting the mitt down. I always save the plastic that it comes in and then I can just put it right on top. All right, so moving on to the stomach and lower back area, I am going to put 2 pumps. Go around the back. As you can see, my arms get a lot more sun than my stomach does these days. Moving on to the legs, we have a little bit more area to cover. So I typically go with 3 pumps for each leg, sometimes more, because my legs are crazy white. I haven't really had them in the sun at all yet this summer. So that's why we're gonna start with a lot. Now the main thing to focus on is doing your thighs, like the front of your leg first, and the front of your calf first. Avoid the ankle area, avoid the foot area, avoid your knee area first. That's my recommendation. So what I'm gonna do is start on this nice thigh. Make sure you get it all around the back and the sides, really massage it in there. And normally if I didn't have my shorts on, I get up in there. Like I get up in there, I do not want any line, any tan line showing in my bathing suit. So once I get it nice and massaged into my thigh, I just kind of do little strokes like this over my knees and over the back of my knee, just in a circle. And then start working it down into your shin and calf area. And I'm just gonna do 1 more pump because my thigh took a lot of product. Like, can you guys see that difference already? This looks like a really nice tan color. That looks like a pinky whitey red. So I'm starting in my shin area first, and then around the back. And it's always important once you get it blended on the front to go to the back side and do the same thing. So kick your foot up on a cabinet or whatever you have and just make sure you're seeing what you're doing, because the last thing you want is it to be nice and blended on the front and then the back looks like a zebra. So now that we're towards the end of our leg, this is when I start onto my ankle, and I'm just gonna gently brush it onto my leg. Onto my ankle. Just like this. Like whatever's left, just kind of go like this. That's it. Nothing crazy. Because at the end, we're gonna use a brush, and I find that's the way that applies the product the most even and the easiest on hands and feet. All right, moving on to the right thigh. I'm gonna do like 3.5 pumps there. Probably just speed this part up since I already walked you through how I do my thighs. So get the front nice and blended. Then you wanna kind of turn. Make sure the back is nice and blended. So I am gently now moving it down to my knee with the leftover product. All right, I'm adding 1 more pump in for my shin and my calf. So starting on my shin, making sure it's nice and blended. All right, the legs are done. So I am going to gently push over my ankles and the back of my feet. I'm gonna move on to showing you how I use a small Even if you have a foundation brush, that will work. This is a BS Small Face Flat Angle Brush. I got it off Amazon in a pack. It was like $10. Really good brushes and inexpensive, and I find that it is perfect for doing my self tanner on my face, my hands, and my feet. So I'm gonna take my gloves off. I'm gonna flip my mitt over onto the back side, put this down on here so that I don't mess up my counter. I'm going to put the tanner on my face the same way that I would apply foundation. I'm gonna work it down into my neck, make sure it's nice and blended. I'm gonna spend special attention to make sure that I don't put a lot of product over my lip area or into my eyebrows. You wanna be careful because you don't want it to cling on and darken up here and it's gonna look like you have a mustache. If you have dry skin on your face, I would recommend putting a little bit of moisturizer on at this point. My skin doesn't need it today, so I'm gonna skip that step and I'm gonna go in with one pump and I'm gonna place it onto the mitt. So you're just gonna dab just like this and you're gonna take any of the excess there and just kind of swirl it around. You always wanna go in with a light hand. You don't wanna go in heavy. It's better to start off a little bit and put on not enough than to put on too much and try to backtrack. It's not gonna work with tanner. All right, I'm gonna use my mirror here, otherwise I'll be like this close to the lens trying to do this. So what I like to do is start on my cheek area like this, the same way I would do foundation, and I'm avoiding my upper lip for now and over my eyes. You're just gonna dust those areas. Go back in, get a little bit more. I have a ton of hyperpigmentation. Naturally, I struggle with it, but from having the baby, it's made it like a lot worse. I'm gonna go in and hit my forehead, and I always like to push it up into my hairline, just like the same way you would do foundation. It just makes it so much easier using the brush. Trust me, you don't have to worry about it. If you don't want to do this on your face, no worries. You can totally not use the self tanner. I will link a couple of my favorite specifically for the face, the self tanners down below if you're more comfortable with that. At this point, I'm gonna purse my lips together, whatever you want to call it, and just dust over. And then do the same thing on my eye, just kind of gently pat. Okay, so you're gonna want to do this towards the end of the product, like after you've gotten most of the color down on your face. Okay, at this point, I am done with my face. So I'm gonna do one more pump here and dab it out very sparsely because I'm doing my hands. You wanna be super careful here. If you put too much on, it's gonna cling in between your hands. It's not gonna look right. So your best bet is to just very sparsely tap, okay? Just like this, just kind of tap it on, almost like you're like airbrushing. Just tap it on your fingers here. Gently with the product, don't forget your thumbs, and I'm literally just gently, like barely touching in between my fingers. You don't wanna like scrub in between there, but you want it to be nice and airbrushed. And then once it's no longer super wet and you've covered the whole area, then I'll go in a little bit more vigorously, and I'll get like this area right here where your thumb meets your palm, because you don't want a huge line of demarcation. You want it to blend. And then you also want to go over your wrist, okay? So even like back here, like you don't want it to be a huge line. I just find that using the brush technique makes it the most natural. So I am taking no more product other than the one pump I showed you before. And now I'm doing my right hand, which always gives me trouble because I am not a lefty. Doing the same thing, just kind of gently brushing it over. So if you need to do your nails or something, I would make sure you do your nails prior to doing your self-tanning. Same with your toes, because when you use a nail polish remover or an acetone, it may mess up the tan. So now that we have that nice and worked in, I'm gonna go into my wrist area and just kind of brush down and make sure it's all seamlessly blended. I'm gonna go in now with one more pump, and we're gonna do the feet. And be careful, because sometimes this does splatter, and if you're not paying attention, it's gonna stain whatever you have around it. So luckily I caught that one, and I can quickly clean it up, because the last thing you want is a yucky stain on your hand or on your cabinet or your couch or your floor or your kid. So during the process, make sure to recap it and give it a good shake, because I find that sometimes it like settles, and you always want the formula to be as evenly distributed and then dispersed on your skin as possible. So I'm gonna focus this down so you can see my award-winning feet. I'm just kidding, don't judge. All right, so I'm gonna go in with the brush very similar to how I did my hands and just go over the largest part. And you wanna just do the same thing, just very gently kind of dust it on there. Go in between your toes gently. Sorry if this is disgusting anyone, I'm just trying to show you guys how to get the best application possible. And that should be good. Honestly, with your feet, less is more. I find that most people have the most difficult time with self-tanners on their feet, because you can always go back and add more, but it's very hard to remove once you've made that big mistake. Go around like the back of your Achilles and your heel, just gently dust it. And then if you want to do a little bit on your ears, just rub it in. So at this point, I am happy. I do not have any product on my palms. Here's what I will say. If you're planning on doing laundry, dishes, anything that's gonna involve submerging your hands in water, you might not wanna do that, because what's gonna happen is you are gonna lose your tan, not to mention you can transfer it over to clothes if you're doing laundry. So what I would recommend is really waiting a while. And once it does dry, if you have to do it, I would recommend putting on a pair of gloves. So either like rubber gloves, or I might put on these nitrile ones if I need to do something where I'm submerging my hands. So for the regular St Tropez, this is just the limited edition. They do recommend leaving it on your skin for 4 to 8 hours to develop. I am probably just going to sleep in this, and what I'll do is I'll put on either a long sleeve, dark t-shirt and like a pair of pajama pants, and I'm fine. Maybe I'll throw a towel or something over my pillow just as a precautionary step, but again, I've never had a problem with the color transferring onto my sheet once it's completely dry. So if you're looking for something that's quicker, I've already done a video on this, and I would get the St Tropez. This is normally my go-to. This is the Express Tan. So you could leave it on for 1 hour, which I feel like I've done that before and it rinsed right off. So the least amount of time I've ever left it on for was probably about 3 hours, which it says 2 hours medium, 3 hours dark. So you might want to try something like this if you're newer to tanning, or if you're in a crunch and you don't want to have to leave it on your skin for a while. But I'm definitely going to give this the full 8 hours, and then I'm going to rinse it off. So I've gotten a lot of questions in the past on my other videos about how do I shower after I've self-tanned. So I like to soap, exfoliate, shave, do my hair, everything like that ahead of time. So this shower that I'm gonna be doing is just to rinse off any excess or the color guard or the color guide, whatever it's called. So I'm not gonna be vigorously scrubbing in there. If you go in and exfoliate right after you've tanned, the tan is not gonna last as long. Also, try not to use scorching hot water. I find that if you just use like warm water, you should be fine. It makes it last longer. So for the next few days, I would definitely avoid exfoliating or super hot water or a lot of scrubbing, which would make the tan last not as long. If you're swimming, if you're jumping in the ocean, obviously the tan is probably not going to last as long. So you might have to apply it every couple of days. For me, it's typically like weekly. I don't have as much time lately, but normally I would do it on a weekly basis. A couple of things that I do to prolong my tan, I've gotten a bunch of questions on this, is to use a Gradual tan. You can use one in shower. St Tropez makes one that they sell in their kit. I'm gonna link everything down below so you can easily find everything that I like to use. But this is good at helping to prolong the tan. Jergens makes a really great lotion that's good that you can apply every night if you're trying to prolong your tan. I'll link it down below, or I'll put it up on the screen. I think I get the shade medium to dark. If you get the light to medium, I find that even if you have fair skin, it's gonna turn you orange. And if you do have fair skin, I would definitely recommend the St Tropez products. I also have used the Loving Tan. I've made videos on it. I do really like that tanner. However, I think maybe it's because I used it in the darker tan. I find that this one is a little bit more first time user friendly. I find that the color works better on lighter skin tones, just my opinion. Another thing you can do is pick up some self-tanning drops. I like to use them. I'll mix them right in with my lotion, like this one at night, and you're gonna still get that scent. Everyone asks, oh, does it smell? You smell like burnt hot dogs. Sometimes with the self-tanners, you do. You can't really get around it. I find that especially with the marshmallow scent, this is really nice, and it's doing a really great job of masking that odor. But I find that out of all of the self-tanners that I've tried, I think that St Tropez does have a really nice scent to it. But if you're looking for a product that's gonna leave you with no DHA, and if you're wondering what DHA is, it's basically what's going to dye your skin and make it develop that tan look. So what I also like to do is, I've been using some self-tanning drops. These are the ones that I was talking about earlier in the video. I've only used them once or twice. So far, so good. I haven't had any issues with streaking. They're super easy to use. I just put a couple of drops into my moisturizer for my whole body. I've also used it with my CeraVe nighttime moisturizer, and I find that it's really nice. And these are by the brand Remiverse, and they're the Glow Self-Tanning Drops. I will link them down below if you're looking for a drop option that you can mix into your everyday lotion. But I am still trying these out. I like to try a product out a few times before I can guarantee that I think it's an awesome product. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So I will check back in with you guys tomorrow after I get out of the shower, and I can show you guys how it looks. And also I wanna mention, so after I shower, I'm just gonna gently rinse off with warm water, nothing super hot, not a ton of soap. And when I use my towel, I pat to dry. So I'm not like taking the towel and like scrubbing, I'm patting my body to dry. And then I like to put on a good smelling lotion. So I will probably put on a little bit more of this Sol de Janeiro that I had used before. So I will check back in with you guys tomorrow. All right, so I just rinsed off, and I am very tired today. My eye bags are real. So here's how the color came out. Everything is nice and natural looking. I didn't have any problems with any streaking. My legs are much darker than they were. But everything came out good, and I'm happy with it. So I will be right back. I'm gonna go put on my makeup and show you the final result. So here is the finished look. I hope you guys like this video. I hope that you learned something. I hope this makes your tanning routine a little bit easier. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.